Welcome to Murder and Everything Else. My name is Joy.
And my name is Cheryl. Joy and I are two very old friends who love to talk about murder and everything else.
I like to talk about everything else, and Cheryl likes to talk about murder. But I just want to talk a little bit about the time change that happened last weekend. And everyone sprang forward, or at least almost everyone sprang forward an hour. And how is it humanly possible that 1 hour can just fuck shit up so bad?
Do you think it's psychological?
Cheryl, I now have a cold. I have some of the worst gas I've ever had in my lifetime. I am not sleeping well for like a week. So I ask you, is that psychological?
And that has to do with the time change, your gas?
I don't know.
Your
I feel like it's all connected. Anyway,
well, I'm here. I love that Arizona does not observe daylight savings because they don't have to go through the hassle of changing all the clocks if you have any manual changing clocks.
Well, I have to change the one in my car. I have to change the one in the microwave. I have to change the one on the stove. And I'm here to tell you that my husband came home on Sunday and said, "Oh my God, you changed all the clocks." And that's the first time in history that I've ever changed all the clocks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's kind of a pain. But do you really think that you there is actually something physical that happens to you with the time change?
I don't know, but I got a little cold, and so I am now sucking on throat lozenges. I'm taking a cough suppressant, and I don't know what that noise is, but my computer keeps making that noise.
Oh, I don't hear it. What happens when you fall back? First of all, I just want to say that whole little ditty about spring forward and fall back or fall forward, and because you can fall forward. Trust me, I have fallen forward.
Yeah,
but you can spring back if you want to.
Yeah, but get it? Spring is in the spring, and you spring forward, and then fall and fall back because it's in the fall.
No, that still doesn't make sense. Okay. You could spring back and spring. So what happens in the fall? Does it affect you too? Or are you rejuvenated?
In the fall, no. In the fall, I just get like 2 or 3 days where I get so much sleep. It's glorious.
Interesting, because you get an extra hour, right?
Yeah, and then I come home from work or from whatever I'm doing, shoe shopping, on the next day after the time change, and I am ready to crawl into bed by 5:30 p.m. It's so nice.
Interesting. Interesting. I think it's psychological. But
I don't know, because I was just saying this to somebody the other day. Have you ever noticed, like, the only thing we can really compare it to is getting on a plane and going somewhere where the time is different. The time zone is different. And then people spend the next 3 to 4 days just like going over and over and over jet lag, which I just want to take something big and hit them upside the head. It's like,
yeah.
Because I always say, why is it that people get on an airplane and they're sitting down and they'll get off the airplane and then they'll end up at their destination, whether it's with friends or in a hotel or Airbnb or whatever resort, and all they can talk about is how freaking tired they are. It's like, you sat on a plane for 5 hours.
It's exhausting sitting on a plane.
You were resting. I'm like,
Joy,
how come you're so tired? Well, anyway, time change aside, I'm here with some updates, you guys. Welcome back. We talked a couple weeks ago or last week about the show Conan O'Brien Must Go. And I'm here to tell you that Variety Online reported the show's been renewed for season 3. And season 2 will premiere in May of this year. And we love Conan O'Brien. We listen to Conan O'Brien's podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. season 1 is available on HBO Max if you want to go check it out. He travels to 4 countries, and I'll say that the photo on the article that I shared with Cheryl about the show being renewed for season 3 has a picture of him wearing lederhosen, so I know he's not going to disappoint in the comedy department.
Oh God, I'm so excited. Love Conan O'Brien.
Right? Anyway, my last update is Cheryl and I also learned recently that Skype is going away in May, which means that once again we're going to have to shift gears, which, as you all know, it makes me crazy. Why is it that when we get comfortable using something, I feel I'm having deja vu right now because Cheryl and I used to work in a past life together, and she used to complain to me about this all the time. They'd be like, "We're making an update to our chat program, so your chat programs will be down for 3 days." And Cheryl would come over to me and go, "Why? If it works, why make changes to it?" And I feel the
I don't
same
remember
way.
that. Right?
Yeah.
If it ain't broke.
Guys, Skype has been working for a million years, but I did find out that because Skype is owned by Microsoft, it's going to be replaced by Microsoft Teams. So I am here with fingers crossed that the transition is seamless and that you and I can figure out Microsoft Teams just as easily as we figured out all the other ways that we've been recording so that we can continue this in a seamless fashion. But I swear to you, Cheryl, the idea of having to learn a whole new thing is just like has thrown me for a loop. So from now until May, I'm going to be bitchy about Skype going away.
We are old dogs that can learn new tricks. So.
Anyway, Cheryl, you got some good updates for me?
Well, I don't know if this is good, but the cause of death for Gene Hackman and his wife have been determined. So if you haven't heard, so his wife Betsy had hantavirus. Hantavirus? I've heard it pronounced too.
It's pronounced like hunta, like a junta, but hunta, like
hunta.
Like Hunter Biden.
Well, I've heard. That was good. Yeah.
Guys, when I make Cheryl laugh like that, it's like kryptonite. I live for the few times a year that she belly laughs when I say something.
My God, that was good. Well, I've heard it pronounced 2 ways, but Joy is she is the resident genius, so I will refer to her hantavirus. Yeah, Betsy died of hantavirus, and then Gene Hackman died a week later, which breaks my heart because he was probably so confused. If y'all didn't know, he was 95 and had advanced stage Alzheimer's, and he had heart trouble. He had a heart condition, and he was probably so confused and scared for that week after, during that week after she died. And then they're still doing the necropsy on the dog, although I'm pretty sure it was in a crate, and there's nothing like mysterious about it. They have security footage of Betsy picking up the dog from the vet, so it had some kind of procedure, and so they probably had it in the crate so that it wouldn't hurt itself or open its stitches or whatever might have, been the case. So there's nothing mysterious about why that one dog was in a crate, but the poor thing was not being fed or given water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
bad.
Yeah, so that's what happened. It's just a really tragic circumstance.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anything nefarious or foul play, just a very unfortunate set of circumstances. So
yeah, and for those of you who don't know, hantavirus, or it's called HPS, it is spread by infected rodents through their urine, feces, and saliva.
Yeah, and they're,
crazy. And we come in contact with it by breathing in air contaminated with rodent droppings, urine or saliva. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're trying to make a big, their place was, well kept and blah blah blah, but they said that they on the property they had a couple of sheds and whatnot, and that probably she might have gone in there and swept it up, or you don't want to do that because then it gets in the air and you breathe in the particles. Well, let me tell you something. I wouldn't know that. Well, I do now. But she coming from, I don't know, where did they move from? California? I don't know. Anyway, they were living in Albuquerque, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, yes,
I
yes, because
I
they
I
made
hadn't
it.
been out to see them.
No, they were in Albuquerque because they were saying that the same investigator for their deaths was the same investigator for the Russ shooting, which I was like, why are we even trying to connect the two? It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so imagine you come from a place where you don't have, you never had the knowledge about this rodent dropping or how you're supposed, the do's and don'ts of how to deal with the droppings or like cleaning up a place. I wouldn't know, so it's just very sad set of circumstances. My heart just breaks for Gene because he probably was so confused because she was his primary caretaker.
Yeah.
They didn't have anyone else coming in the house. That's why it took so long to discover them, because it wasn't like they had an outside caregiver. She was his caregiver 24/7. So imagine he's not getting his meds, he's not being fed, although the
Oh yeah.
medical examiner said he wasn't dehydrated, so maybe he was drinking water or some kind of liquid. But anyway, just imagine the confusion. So anyway, my heart goes out to their families, my condolences to their families and friends.
Well, uh roaring on to shout outs. I know that we have I've stopped going into a lot of different things. I will shout out occasionally, like if we get a new country that's listening to us. But my shout out today is for Apple Podcasts. Um, we added Apple Podcasts to our list of streaming platforms about a year ago. And I'm here to tell you that they have surpassed Spotify now as the number one place that people are getting our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yay! That's where I'm
So,
listening to most of my podcasts.
yeah. So, hey, let's hear it for Apple Podcasts. You know what? My husband
Yay!
told me that that was the place to go. And guess what? He was right.
Always listen to your husband.
Whatever. Anyway,
If your husband is named Gabe.
the other shout out I have is for my kids. I'm just here to shout out my kids because if I had not had kids, I would not have learned patience and I would not have learned how to be a good parent, which means I would not have learned how to be a good nanny, which means I would not have learned how to slow life down and look and smell the roses. And I wouldn't have been a nanny later on in my life and be doing the things that I love to do right now, which is like playing in an orchestra and podcasting and nannying and being able to spend time at home when I want to spend time at home and having my eBay store and volunteering. So I'm just really, really happy that, you know, that I decided to have those little snot monsters because they have contributed so much positivity to my life. So,
Yay, snot monsters. And they also keep you abreast of all the latest acronyms. Because
that's right. And all the popular music and everything else like that. And also fashion.
Right. That's right. Yeah,
That's
kids are
right.
very important to keeping you in the loop,
That's
because
right.
I have no kids and I'm always out of the loop. My shout out is to my sister. Happy birthday, Noreen. May you
Yay!
have
Irene!
a prosperous and joyful and healthy new year at your new young age. well, it's going to be a couple of weeks later when this comes out. But as we record this today, it is my sister's birthday. So happy birthday, happy birthday, yay!
Na, 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 na,
She,
na. You said it's your birthday.
yes, she's the one that has given us the advice, the very good advice of don't complicate your day. So that's where that comes
right.
from. And happy birthday, Noreen. I love you. Love you, love you, love you.
The only time to complicate your day is on your birthday. Complicating it by having some cake, right?
Right? Yeah.
Noreen, by the way, is one of our OG listeners. I think Noreen was maybe one of our 3 listeners that brought us through season 1.
Yes.
Anyway, happy birthday, Noreen, or as they like to say in Hawaii, Malikilikimaka. How do you
For
say
those of you who
birthday?
don't know,
How do you
I
say
don't know,
happy
but
birthday in Hawaiian?
I don't know, but for those of you who don't know what Mele Kalikimaka is, it's Merry Christmas. So we'll just use that. That works.
Okay. Anyway, guys, this week we are detouring off of murder. If my voice sounds funny, it's because I might be sucking on a throat lozenge now and then. And we had kind of like, I had kind of hinted at doing this a couple weeks ago when we talked about Ruby Frankie. Let's see, Ruby Frankie, that was episode 5 of season 3. And I had talked a little bit about this Stouffer family that had a family vlog. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. The research for this episode comes from YouTube, Vanity Fair, HBO Max, Google, and Dispatch.com. This episode centers around the HBO Max 3-part docuseries called An Update on Our Family, which aired on January 15th of this year, 2025, and nearly 5 years after the infamous final upload by Mika and James Stouffer. And it began with, "This is by far the hardest video James and I have ever publicly had to make. It was an Ohio-based mommy vlogger." And so we're going to go back to May of 2020, when a lot of their followers on Instagram, YouTube, and so forth, people who followed this vlog started asking the question, where is Huxley? So for those of you who watch YouTube, and I have to say, who of us does not watch something on YouTube? Like, I used to watch a lot more, but now I only watch Seth Meyers, I watch John Oliver, I watch Stephen Colbert, and I watch The View. So those are pretty much the only 4 things I watch. What do you watch, Cheryl?
Oh my God, what don't I watch? I watch a lot of things. You know, I've noticed lately I have been on YouTube a lot more than I've been on any of my streaming movie, TV platforms. It's so much so that I'm thinking maybe I just need to cancel all of them. Because first of all, Hulu and Netflix have had price increases. Amazon Prime, it's like half all the good stuff. They want you to pay not only your yearly subscription, but some other kind of fee to rent it. And I'm like,
Dude,
what
you
is
can
going
just
on?
watch. You can just watch mine.
Okay, well, give me your password after we finish
right.
recording. But so
Remember,
I've been on YouTube.
I told you the password's password.
Just said all lowercase. Yeah, I watch so many things. I watch mukbangers, I watch YouTubers some who go hiking, some who just go shopping. I watch crime channels. I told you I found Fumi Desalu Void Vold. I found her. She does fashion. Oh, I've been obsessed with her reviews of red carpet events. It just depends
Oh
on
my
how I
God.
feel it. But I watch YouTube a lot. Although I have to say, I did not follow this Mika Stouffer woman. So tell us about her. Tell us.
Well, for those of you who watch family vloggers, they always create this kind of environment of perfection. Their hair is in place, makeup is done,
Mhm.
house is clean, children are dressed. A lot of times, the little girls will have bows in their hair. They'll have, color specific matching outfits. They create what looks like a perfect setting, the perfect family. But as the watcher, you have to know you're only seeing what they want you to see. It's called editing. For example, Cheryl and I edit these episodes. We let you hear only what we want you to hear. I sit here and listen to the episodes more than once before they're released, and I clip things out. That's just
Yes.
how it works.
Listen, guys, she is farting way more than what you hear. She edits out 90%
Well,
of them, so you can imagine how much she's farting.
well, one of the things that people said about Mika Stauffer was that she was real. She would show you with the dirty car. She showed her postpartum body. They invited people into their world to show them the things that were not perfect and airbrushed and coiffed and camera ready.
But
So
even that's manipulative because those
exactly,
are just peppered throughout so that it's not all, it's like, oh, we got to put in a little bit of reality. Yeah.
exactly. But the people who watched their channel, they felt like they were real people doing real things. She was motivational, inspirational, and all of the people who watched their channel started to feel like they were a community. They were all rallying behind them. They were in support of them. They couldn't wait to see the kids' next outfit. She would um she would tease, the next episode, and so you would wait for these episodes to come out because they were like little mini movies, like mini reality TV show movies. Um
Hmm.
so they one of the things that people who watched their channel said, that you felt like they were really your friends, and they were your friends and you were their friends. So Mika would introduce her pregnancies on the channel. And what they do in this docu-series is they showcase other family vloggers. And one of the things I'm not going to do is I'm not going to call out these channels. One, they already have millions of subscribers, so they don't need an endorsement from us. But also, after doing the research for this and watching this docu-series several times, I feel very strongly about these family vlogs. Um, and I feel like the children are the silent victims of these vlogs. So I'm not calling them out, but they do showcase another family vlog, and the dad says, I'm totally ready to have more babies, while he's holding a baby and he has on a military uniform. He's in his kitchen. He's sharing intimate wishes, desires, and dreams. And it appeals to you. You say, he's a blue collar dad. He's in the military. He has a baby on his arm. His house is perfectly clean. His wife has makeup on. And they've just had a baby and everything's chaotic. The baby's crying, but it appeals to people. Um, Personally, I found it a little bit creepy because you know that they have a camera on them. So what happens as soon as the camera's turned off?
Right. And it probably took them 10 takes to get that
Mhm.
one perfect, so
Right,
don't be comparing your lives to them.
right. Also, the other reason I'm not calling out the names of these is, remember that their content is monetized. They get money for subscribers and views and likes and things like that. And these children have no say. They
Mhm.
didn't sign a form that said, I'm totally cool with being filmed at all aspects of my day, falling down, standing up, getting sick, throwing up in my crib, eating green stuff, getting ready for school. None of that stuff have they like, and I understand their parents are doing this obviously collaboratively to make money because that's the only reason they would do something like this because I mean, they're famous, they have lots and lots of subscribers, but it is a cautionary tale. It's not just adults watching these channels. There's children that watch them too.
Right.
And just going a little bit deeper into this, I blame shows like the Kardashians and I hold channels like TLC and Bravo accountable for this phenomenon of people wanting to see the everyday things and these wow things, but also train wreck things that happen in people's lives, like in shows called My 600-Pound Life and Hoarders. Um, you know, you take a psychological or a physiological condition or something, like disordered eating or an eating disorder. You take something like hoarding and then you sensationalize it. You take the Real Housewives of New York City and the Real Housewives of New Jersey, where you ended up with women who had little to no education, who had never been on television, who were all of a sudden being given endorsements and lots of money, lots of access to designer things and Botox and trips around the world. But they had to kind of train wreck things out, and family relationships are the result. Your relationships with their children, things falling apart, or notoriety and being famous doesn't fix everything. There's a vlog that I occasionally would tune into when I was watching family vlogs, and it was a Korean man who had married a mixed race Muslim girl, and his family had disowned him because she was mixed race. She was half black, half Filipino. And this couple would sit and talk about how they would show up at his parents' house unannounced. They would be berated by his mother. The father would sneak around to get messages to them. And each video would chronicle some new disaster or train wreck and how sad it made the young husband and wife and how distraught they were that their children would never meet their grandparents and how his wife couldn't understand her in-laws and why they wouldn't want a relationship with the grandchildren. And it went on and on. And I get it. Like the more drama there is, the more clicks there are, the more views, the more subscribers. We want to know, were you able to resolve things with your in-laws? I
Right.
imagine they're probably still at odds with the parents, and it's been years. But every time a video like that is uploaded, it creates controversy. It gives, you get likes, you get clicks, you get views. And the issue of the parents being racist or having a mother with severe mental illness is not being addressed. Nothing's being resolved. And it's all intentional. They have to do something to get people to come back and watch them.
So are you
So
still watching this channel?
no, I haven't forever. And I don't actually even remember what it's called. Basically, what I'm saying is we are being conditioned to come back and watch more, to ask questions, to post, to subscribe, to get involved, to post comments, to talk about it, and to eagerly await a new episode.
So can I ask what made you stop watching?
What made me stop watching was
This,
the first things I stopped watching were I stopped watching Bravo. I found that the drama and I I was very turned off by a lot of what I was seeing as far as um I felt like people were being exploited,
Mhm.
by
Yeah.
the show. I felt like at the end of each season there would be this reunion show and that guy Andy, what's his name, would sit there and he would drop a bomb and then watch these women catfight it out. And I felt like it was very exploitative. And then so I dropped Bravo first
Mhm.
and stopped watching reality television next. Including Survivor. Remember, we used to love Survivor. And
Yeah.
then I slowly started pulling away from YouTube. Yeah, I started gravitating in 2015 to just watching like late night television and news shows and comedy.
Yeah, I think, well, we discussed this, but you are the one that introduced me to Survivor, and I loved it for several seasons. What is going for 50 years now? Feels like it. But I watched
Yeah,
like halfway through whatever they are now. Probably watched like the first 13 seasons, and then they really focused on the drama behind you. You know how they interview the people on the
right.
side, and it just became too much backstabbing and all the negative stuff. And it really turned me off. Like, I like watching the challenges and whatnot. So there are shows, reality shows, like cooking shows. Like one of the ones I like is called Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. But they don't do that. They don't have all this like drama between the contestants. And
Mhm.
I really just want to see the challenges and all of that. I don't like when they start getting into the drama of it all, which is what some people like. They tune in for that stuff. And that's why
Yeah,
these people still keep going, and people want to make all these vlogs and stuff with all this drama because people like that and I don't.
right. Yeah, so Mika started vlogging in 2012. She was a single mom. She had a toddler. Um, so for all of the young divorcees out there, single parents, they really connected with her. She meets a man on OkCupid. Um, and she puts all of this out there, and the guy she meets, James, is like so sweet and the whole package, good looking, he's fit, and they look like a Ken and Barbie couple. So
Mm,
she marries James and she vlogs the whole process. They start popping out babies, and James seems happy. He seems like a sweet dad. He's excited for their family growing. They take you to see the ultrasound. They seem like the whole package. And while you're watching it, there's a young Asian woman who's narrating this vlog, and she's talking about how she identified with Mika. And you get the feeling that she's also a single mom like Mika because she talks about it. And then she feels this connection to her. Like, I also could have this happy ending, where I meet a great guy, I'm a single parent. They also interview a family vlogger about connecting with Mika. She talks about how she was inspiring, relatable, motivational, heartbreaking, and raw. She cries when she tells the watchers that she's connecting with them, Mika does, that she needs them and she relies on them. So it kind of tugs at your heartstrings. And then she even walks the watcher through a miscarriage that she had, and I have to be honest with you, I found that part of the docuseries hard to watch because it seemed like a violation of privacy. But
yeah,
she has to continue to grow her channel, and they're watching it grow exponentially because it's still pretty new and people are putting it all out there. As far as new, I'm saying, like, we're watching YouTube at this time, Cheryl, blow up. Like, where people
right.
are going more to YouTube to watch content than anywhere else.
Yeah,
Um, so the other thing that made me feel icky is you realize while she's crying through a miscarriage video that somewhere there's also planning for her next video and what she's going to talk about, and that the miscarriage video is also something that's planned. You know what I mean? Not that she planned a miscarriage, but that she's planning how to monetize the everyday events of her life. Because
wow,
through editing, timing, and filming, she is probably filming a lot of content, but nothing that she releases is accidental. It's all
right.
very intentional with the
Oh yeah.
intent of getting more clicks, getting more subscribers, getting more views. Another family vlog is showcased at this time, and the woman talks about how she was just filming and editing and posting content. All of a sudden, she realized one day she had 300 subscribers and she didn't realize people were subscribing. And I have to say that I kind of called bullshit on this. I don't know if you remember that part. Um, where the husband kind of chimes in. He goes, we weren't really tracking it or following it. And I want to
Oh.
say anyone who's posting content has to
Yes.
know that there are subscribers. For example, Cheryl and I have subscribers. We have a whopping 90 subs on Spotify. And I don't know when the last time someone new subscribed, it was within the last 30 days. But I can tell you that I know, like, I don't know the exact day, but I always know how many subscribers we have.
You can't. That is, I call bullshit on that too,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's like, it's ridiculous to say that. It's almost as ridiculous as saying, "Oh, I don't know how we got on YouTube."
Right.
Jesus, you have to know it's all about views and subscribers.
Yeah.
Don't tell. What are you uploading it for then?
Right. Well, I'll
That's
tell you
such
what's
bullshit.
different about them and us. One is you and I are like radio. We're not a visual medium. So people can't see what we're doing, what we look like, what
And
outfits we're wearing. And
they don't
so
know what they're missing out on, Joy. They do not
exactly.
know.
The other thing is we create content that we want to talk about. We don't go out there and say, what's the hottest topic on the chopping block and let's talk about that, because we
Right.
stick to true crime murder and everything else and a lot of comedy interjected in there. And also if we were giving people what they wanted, we would be growing. And we haven't had a subscriber we lost 2 subscribers last month and we got 2 this month.
Oh God, you guys.
It's been
She's
a
still
while.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Whoever those 2 people are, you don't know how much you've
I
hurt
know,
Joy,
you ruined
because
my
you can't let
frickin'
go
month,
of it.
all right? Anyway, so this is the point of the docuseries where they start talking about making money and vlogging. And I will say that this is also icky because we all know that people make money doing this. It's not like they're getting eternal salvation or they're somehow exonerating themselves for a horrible crime or they're doing a repentance for some, misdeed. They're getting money. And the director asked the questions of a company representative about if they've ever had to distance themselves from a content creator. And he answers that it's all part of doing business. And then she mentions the name Mika Stauffer, and he looks to the side where off camera a PR representative is sitting, and she says, you hear her voice, she says, we'll stay away from that one. And that's all that's said. And the guy that's being interviewed looks in the camera and just nods in agreement with the woman who's sitting off to the side. So no PR representative and no company wants to do business with the Stauffers. And they don't even want to say that woman's name or call out that channel because it obviously took a very, very bad turn. So, when she says we'll stay away from that one, though, I thought it was such a great way to say it because it's a double meaning we're going to stay away from Mika Stauffer, but we're also going to stay away from answering that question.
Do you feel that there would have been more integrity if they were honest? If there was more integrity for their channel?
The thing is, how would we have known, Cheryl, if they were being honest?
Well, we know this, that they were told to stay away from that subject. Do you think that it would have been, for them to just answer it honestly?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
because can I just say something?
Yes.
Because of this whole cancel culture, people are afraid to speak their minds. Some people. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, it's true. But also, if you haven't watched this or you live under a rock and you don't know what happened in this situation, like you wouldn't want to be affiliated with this woman either. One of the things that they say that I really loved was they said the YouTube algorithm is like Cookie Monster. Continue to feed me. I loved that. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
When I was watching, I used to watch travel vlogs and I would watch a couple or a single person travel somewhere exotic. I used to travel a lot. And I used to enjoy traveling with a friend or, you know, with a group of friends, but I really loved traveling alone for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. And so I would watch these travel vlogs. And of course, if you watch one, next thing you know, your feed is full of like nothing but travel vlogs.
Right.
And I enjoyed them to a certain point until they started to rake in subscribers and they ended up every single vlog turned into a gigantic ad. It was like
Yeah.
endorsement, endorsement, endorsement. Oh, we're going to go to Afghanistan. Endorsement, endorsement, endorsement. It was ad nauseum. And I
Mhm.
stopped watching. I primarily stopped because I don't want to buy your sippy cup or subscribe to your new webpage. Or I get it. They have to set up a business. You know why? Because now they're getting checks for $100,000 and they have to do something with that money. Because if not, here comes Uncle Sam and he wants a certain amount of it. He wants a cut.
Right. Right.
So, anyway, in 2016, Mika hints at a big secret. And everyone thinks it's going to be another baby because remember, she has walked people through pregnancies on her vlog.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when I stumbled on Mika Stauffer. I was obsessed at this time with watching foreign adoption videos, and theirs was one of them that popped up. I watched one, I ended up watching 150,000. And the reason I love these videos is because I have a sibling that was adopted, not a foreign adoption, but I have always had such a special place in my heart for adoption. The the thing that stands out to me about foreign adoption is because where the children are and how they're being adopted, there is a lot of paperwork and a lot of approval and a lot of waiting. So many times these children are much older than when you do like a private adoption or adopt through foster care, although you can adopt older children through foster care and private adoption as well. Mika is very confident during these videos about adoption being what they're going to do and that she's okay with any or all issues this child could come with, any disabilities, any learning problems, etc. Their perfect family can change the life of any child. And China was the country because there was less waiting time than other countries. And the reason this video stood out to me was they decided to shout out the name that they were going to give this child, and it was Huxley. And I have to say, it just feels like a mouthful to me. It's also, don't think for a second, I can't get the whole white savior thing out of my mind. It's a white, affluent family, and they're going to a country to save a child that doesn't look like them, and then they're going to slap him with this mouthful of a name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so all the subscribers and all of the people who are like engaged with this channel are pulling for him and they're all excited. And she talks about him on every vlog. She talks about God giving her a sign. So she's relied now on divine intervention. And also remember, there's lots of Christians watching this vlog. So this pulls at their heartstrings. She has said that God gave her a signal that she was making the right choice. She's calling Huxley her son on every vlog. They're sharing photos of him on the vlog. People are hyped. Remember, he's a minor. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't even know that Mika and James Stauffer are going to be his new parents and that they have other children. But
Mm-hmm.
she's saying things like there's an instant connection with these photographs. She loves him so much. He is hers. Like this sippy cup is mine, or this car is mine, or, this new king size bed is mine. And then she says this super, super cringy thing, quote, my child is not returnable, unquote, which I'm sure in hindsight she wishes she'd never said.
In what context did she say that? Like how much she loves it, or like
Because
how?
people were asking, like, what if he has Down syndrome, or what if he has autism, or what if he's disabled? Because when you're adopting a child that you have to know that it can come with all different kinds of psychological, emotional, mental, and learning disabilities because including your own child that you're having. You don't know.
It was her declaration of
Yeah.
her commitment to
Hmm.
say my child is not returned. So because I can't remember. So when because I did watch the vlog, but the docuseries, but it was a while ago. Did she show pictures of Huxley or did she blur him out on her vlog?
No,
Did they
she shows pictures of him on the vlog. When I stumbled on the adoption video, which led me to their actual vlog, which
Mhm,
remember, I wasn't as intrigued by family vlogging at this point. I was intrigued
mhm.
by the adoption videos. So
Right,
I
right.
was mowing through these gotcha videos because they call
Got
it
it.
your gotcha day. Like, like you're going to, I don't know, like you're hiding behind the fridge and you jump out and go, gotcha. So, Huxley, the thing with adoption is Huxley's a real child. He's not a stuffed animal. He's not a puppy. He's not a newborn.
Right.
He is a child that has created relationships with caregivers, foster parents, has a name, speaks words mostly likely, identifies with his birth name, and is a Chinese child.
Mhm.
Anyway, so now the stuffers not only have couples following them that are young families, they also have a niche market of people following them, which are adoptive parents who have adopted a child already or prospective adoptive parents, same sex couples who are adopting. And it starts to feel like this house of cards that's not going to last. I have to be honest. Because I remember every time I had watched these adoption videos, Cheryl, I would think, this child doesn't know who these people are. And they've
Right.
got this like beautiful song playing in the background, and they show up with their toe-headed children, with them, and they're always bringing candies and toys and they're plying them. And then they're at some point they're wrenching the child away from a caregiver, and it's just gut-wrenching. And a lot of times the 23-hour flight back from wherever they are involves screaming fits on the plane.
Mhm.
Because remember, they're being clutched by complete strangers. I mean, it's one of the things that this adoption specialist talked about was how adoption is synonymous with trauma.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
can
it's not
like
just trauma for the child and for the adopted parents. Think of the other children in the family. Think of the
right.
family members, the peripheral family members. Think of the people on the plane who have to ride back with them. I mean, it's trauma for everyone.
And how old is Huxley?
Huxley is between I believe 2 and 3 when they
Oh my
finally
God.
get. So anyway,
Wow.
she is openly vlogging about the mountain of paperwork. If Mika can do it, everyone else can too. So rush out there and adopt. She's also teasing Huxley's diagnosis. So you're feeling like they're really saviors. They're saving this child with special needs. How heroic, how generous, how selfless, I mean. So they go
Mhm.
to China and they get Huxley. They bring their toddler children. I will say, some of the videos I watch, they leave their toddler and small children at home because it's too hard to travel that far with small children, but they bring theirs. Um, so one of the other things about this docu-series is every time you see Huxley, they have grayed him out and they have pencil drawn him in, much like if you've ever seen the Aha music video Take on Me, where he comes out of a cartoon and he's kind of like pencil drawn. So you can't identify what Huxley looks like, which I'm thankful for because remember, he is a minor. And even though she felt comfortable splashing his picture all over, he's still, he has a right to his own privacy.
Right.
Um, so I talked a little bit about an adoption counselor that was on this, and he has a lot of good insight. He brings up a lot of good points regarding adoption. He asks the questions who benefits from this story since the child cannot understand who is it for. All the talking and the storytelling that Mika is doing on this vlog, who benefits from it? It's not Huxley.
Right.
You know who benefits from it? Mika and James benefit from it because they are monetizing it. So it makes you feel icky. Even if they wanted to pull back at this point, Cheryl, and this was one of the things that came up, and not expose Huxley as much or feature him in as many videos. Remember, this is what the viewers want now. So much like that comment I made earlier about Cookie Monster, they have to center the videos around him. It's his issues and development in his life. Everyone's pulling for him. They've monetized him. He's the selling point of this vlog now. So you have to
Right.
give those viewers what they want. And they're posting his medical issues now, his thumb sucking. He's wearing a thumb guard because responding to comments from people. She's upset. She's defensive. She comes on and says, please don't say that because we're doing X, Y, and Z. And people start noticing that James is stepping up more with Huxley and taking him to his interventions and his meetings with doctors and specialists. And Mika's taking more of a back seat. The internet is relentless and they are turning over stones. And this is the point where she starts to tease a second adoption. And now they're doing brand deals with companies like Dreft, which is a baby laundry detergent, Walmart, Disney, and huge corporations. They're featured in People magazine, and she announces another pregnancy.
Oh, I forgot about that. She gets
Yeah.
pregnant and she's talking about another adoption when she's not. It seems, well, from what they let everyone see, James is more in the forefront of Huxley's
Right.
care.
Right. So
And
remember when they went to get Huxley, they had 3 children. Huxley made 4. Now she's pregnant. So this will be their
talking about another adoption.
right.
That's crazy.
So this is their 5th. This will be their 5th child. And in the videos, you can see they're struggling. There are tantrums, timeouts, hard moments, and struggles with Huxley. They share his entire diagnosis on the vlog. He has autism spectrum disorder and ADHD. They share that he may not be able to be potty trained in his whole life. She is crying. She's not as put together. She looks frazzled most of the time. And for the next year, you see them step up to the plate and you feel like they're giving 100% to Huxley and getting him the therapies and the interventions he needs. He has successes and support. And they're showing this to you real time, or at least you feel like that. They have this 5th child and the adoption focus starts to wane. And instead, they are 100% all in on Huxley and getting him help. And for 2.5 years, Huxley is the star of this vlog. And then he disappears. And remember, the fans have been like
invested.
Cookie Monster. Yeah. It's like,
invested.
feed me. And all of a sudden he's gone. And people start commenting on where's Huxley, and Mika starts deleting the comments. And James has a YouTube channel that he has started, and it's called Stouffer's Garage. And by the way, it's still up on YouTube. You can go check it out. And because it's about car maintenance and car repair, for whatever reason, the internet has given him a pass. But the super fans notice that Huxley's car seat is missing from James's car. That's how crazy this is. And all of the old videos of Huxley are now private or have been deleted. So now comes the infamous video that I teased at the beginning of this episode. They're both weeping. They're talking about how much they love Huxley and how they've been invested for 2.5 years and how they are the victims in this scenario. They've tried everything. They love him completely. He needs more. The specialists have determined numerous medical professionals, have found someone better suited to be his final forever family. And they are protecting his privacy. And they have decided that it's not appropriate to share where he is and what has happened. But they have decided to rehome him. They use the term rehome like you would if you were giving a cat or a dog up for adoption.
Whoa. And how do they see themselves as victims in this?
Because they have tried everything. They have given him all their love, and nothing they can do is like what they've given is not adequate. Um
Well, I hate to break it to them, but that is not the definition of a victim.
so remember, he was in an orphanage or with a caregiver in China for 2 years. He's
Ugh.
now been with the Stofers for 2.5 years, and he's being rehomed. So talk about trauma. So people have combed through hours and hours of footage. Because remember, even though she's deleted them, you can download a video. People download everything and save it. There
Mhm.
are receipts, and people have them. And so they find specific ways to dissect the things she has said. They nitpick her parenting skills. And in one video, they find her talking about downgrading the cost of speech therapy because instead of costing, $250, they found someone that was $60, and she's wearing a $6,500 Cartier bracelet in
Mm.
the video. So the first thing that starts to happen is it gets called out on Twitter, and then brands start to pick up the story. News agencies start to pick up the story, and brands start canceling relationships. And within a 24-hour period, she is dropped by every brand that she has been endorsing. And the fans keep digging, and one super sleuther finds this video that was uploaded in 2017. It was quickly taken down and then uploaded again, but there are 20 seconds missing. And they find the video where these 20 seconds are. And what has happened is in the video, there's a picture of him with duct tape wrapped around his thumb that he sucks and his wrist so that he cannot suck that thumb.
Oh
And
my God.
people freak out
Of
saying,
course.
but Cheryl, instead of them just saying things like, oh my God, like, because duct tape is used for packages and, like for, repairing uh, house and car stuff. Now people are throwing around conspiracy theories saying awful things like she's trafficked him or killed him and buried his body in the backyard. Multiple calls and emails are made to 911, and now the police are involved. They had 35 death threats on their own children, not Huxley. So they have to open an investigation, and it's determined that his adoption is being handled correctly. And
Mm.
because obviously they have to call in CPS and the police, etc. Here's the thing that you find out, and this is really heartbreaking. Adoption disillusions do happen. Sometimes the placement of a child is not a beneficial one for both the child and the adoptive parents. Sometimes the parents are not equipped to handle a child and there's certain issues, and they showcase another family that did an international special needs adoption like the Stofers. And while I appreciate this family coming forward to tell their story, remember, they're not YouTubers. They didn't put their adoptive child in the spotlight. They didn't publicize all of their child's learning issues. She says when they interview her that the Stoffers made some choices she wouldn't have made regarding privacy. So they're not in the same situation. It's like
Yeah.
comparing apples to oranges to me.
But you know what? I am glad that they did show two sides of it. You know what I mean? They did show another couple that had to find another home for their adoptive child and their adopted child. And I did like that they were fair in that sense and they did show
Well,
someone,
I
but like
feel
you said,
I feel like they were trying to play devil's advocate, trying to humanize the Stoffers, but it failed with me. Here's the thing, Cheryl. If my children had been born with any of those issues, that's still my child. I can't
right.
rehome that child. I can't take it to a shelter and be like, I'm sorry, I'm going to need to relinquish this child because X, Y, and Z.
Hmm. Yeah. And
Anyway,
also, she made that very strong statement about my child is not returnable, and then she
right.
returned it.
So they asked this other influential, like family vlogger family, and The husband says the internet has this beautiful side to it, but it also has another side that he said is the cyberbullying side. I thought he was going to say the exploitation of minors and children. I didn't think he was going to say cyberbullying because, again, as a family vlogger, all he's saying is, I don't want to get bullied for, putting my whole family out there. And that was really
Hmm.
disappointing to me because with the Ruby Franke story and the book that Ruby Franke's daughter, Sherry Franke, published, and also this story, I think that the dark side to the internet is there being no regulations or rules with regard to the protection of minors and the exploitation of children on these family vlogs.
I think that's coming, don't you? I think
I
that's
hope
gonna.
so. A month after the last video that Mika and James Stauffer uploaded where they were crying, she tried to do damage control with a very long Instagram post. And if you go to her Instagram, you can read it. I'm not going to read it on here. All I can say is that for me, it fell on deaf ears, and it did for a lot of the people that followed her. It's the last time you hear from her. Like I said, her husband's channel is still out there. She's gone, Gone. And I will also say that society blames women and holds women more accountable than men anyway. More accountable. Women are held more accountable when they leave their children. Women who are sent to prison are treated more despicably, I feel like, in society than men are. There's this, belief you can be a deadbeat dad, whatever, but a deadbeat mom is way, way, way more responsible.
Oh, there's definitely a double standard. I was very upset that her channel was canceled, understandably and rightfully. But he's got like over 1 million or 2 million subscribers. I'm like, how does this work? He's in the household too. It's just like Ruby Franke's husband. Like, why aren't they being held accountable? I can't believe he still has a successful YouTube channel. This James Stauffer.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
so
like I
unfair.
said, it's super unfair. And because it's car repair and like fixing up old cars and stuff, people have given him a pass. But again, remember, they've also given him a pass because he's a man.
Yeah.
Somewhere someone has to make a decision regarding exploited or exposed children that are showcased on family vlogs. We all want happy endings or closure in the end. And for the Stauffers, I feel like there's a lot of unanswered questions. And remember, that Huxley is now 9 years old, most likely between 9 and 10, and will probably never get closure to this. He doesn't realize, probably yet, that, he is at the center of this huge issue. And his family has a very, very, very sacred responsibility to shield him and protect him from all of the information surrounding this. Because, imagine becoming 18 or 21 or 16 or whatever and stumbling across a story of yourself.
Right.
And reading about it. I mean, my guess is they probably changed his name because, at some point he's going to get old enough to Google himself.
Right. And yeah, it's just, I hope that he's doing well. I really hope that he's doing well.
Yeah. Mika and James Stauffer have never responded to requests for an interview or comments. And I just did a little bit of research, and a lot of countries have quit doing foreign adoptions, and the Chinese government is one of them. Chinese adoptions are not currently happening. China has effectively ended international adoption, meaning they're no longer sending children abroad for adoption, except in very limited cases like adoption by relatives. This decision was made during the COVID-19 pandemic and has not been reversed.
Wow.
So if you guys are interested, head over to HBO Max and watch this 3-part series, An Update on Our Family. It is infuriating. It's hard to watch at different parts. I think it's hard. It was really hard for me because I'm a mom, but I know Cheryl watched it and it was hard for her to watch too. I don't think you have to be a parent to
No,
watch it and be outraged.
one of the things that really bothered me, and I asked you about this because I don't know a lot about adoption, and you had an interest in it prior to this docuseries. One of the things that really bothered me is that they were interested in him from when he was a baby, right? They had, okay. And then the adoption took like 2 years. Right. So now he's bonded. He's 2 years old. He's old enough to have bonded with his the caregivers, or I don't know if they were foster parent or whatever, in China, and then to pull him away from them and then put him with this family that doesn't look like him, that broke my heart. And I asked you about that, and you said that's how long the whole process took, which I felt like that, it may have been, wouldn't have been more advantageous for them to get him as a baby as opposed to a 2-year-old who's being ripped away from the people who spoke his language, who he bonded with, and all of that. And not to say that it would have had a better, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if this is true or not, but I did find someone on YouTube, and I wish I had the link because I closed out and didn't copy and paste it. But someone said it's also lengthier if it's a boy because of how important male children are in China than if it's a girl, that girl adoptions are a lot faster. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'd have to do more digging. But if it is true, then that's another like super fucked up thing.
Well, also, can I just add that Huxley's real about how Huxley how Huxley ended up in the orphanage or whatever was because his father died, right? His biological father died, and his mother put him, right? Didn't she give him up for adoption? And I asked you about that, and I believe you said that is there shame in being a single parent or something?
There is, but it's also really, really hard to be a single parent. I watched a lot of videos on what it's like in Asia to be young and be a single parent, and how there's no support or services, and then how stigmatized you are if you are single, young, not married, not in a relationship, and you decide to have a child. And, there's plenty of like services, etc., but people don't want to people don't want to hang out with you. You're not going to find a community. Your child will always be known as the child that's the little girl or little boy whose mother, is not married. And
I just hope now he's flourishing and he has a happy life. And it makes me wonder how many Huxleys are out there,
But anyhow, if you are watching family vlogging that features children on YouTube, I think that you're making a huge mistake. And at some point there's probably going to be some regulation out there or something that calls what they're doing a crime.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else is a crime?
What's that, Joy?
That we are out of time.
That is a crime. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. And don't complicate your day. All creativity, commentary, and opinions in this podcast belong to Cheryl and Joy. Music composed and mixed by Gabe McKeon. Logo and merch managed by Cheryl Yamaguchi. Podcast editing, advertising, and social media managed by Joy McKeon. Legal representation provided by John Bojezic. Please like, subscribe, follow, and listen. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible.com, Amazon Music, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And remember, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok, or you can email us at murderandeverythingelse@gmail.com.
Bye, fishes.